Hello everyone. Just arrived in Singapore and I have a business trip to Batam for about 4 to 5 days, and then I'll be spending about 3 days in Singapore. And I would like to share a few things that I hope it could give us a bit more perspective about Indonesia and what is it surround us that probably we haven't seen and heard before. So I just arrived, and Batam is quite unique. So it's part of tourism and industrial area, tourism for Singaporean and Malaysia, and at the same time it's industrial area to supply all the necessities from Singapore. So there are many factories and everything in Batam, and they ship from Batam to Singapore. And Singapore is known as the most expensive country to live in Southeast Asia, and it's the fact. And if you ask Singaporean how much is the average salary they earn in a month, and I have a conversation with a friend of mine, and he said that probably for fresh graduate they need to earn about 2,000 to 3,000 Sing dollar, which equals to about 20 to 30 millions rupiah. That's for fresh graduate. So imagine the fact that happened in Indonesia, how much fresh graduate people could earn. Probably they'll make about 4 to 6 millions a month. Yeah, we are talking about the average. We are talking about the 80% of us. We start from that level. Even I started even lower. That's the fact that in Singapore they have higher, much better standard of living. And Batam in Singapore, we just now I took a boat for about 50 to 60 minutes, and I was thinking that because I know that Batam is growing nowadays, there are so many property developers try to build super blocks, mega blocks, and the vision is that they try to make Batam city as a substitute area for Singaporean to support the activities, their businesses and everything. So I just had a conversation with a Singaporean, and I asked, do you think that Singaporean lived in Batam? Some of Singaporean lived in Batam, and what he said is quite surprising to me. And he said, well, mostly people in Singaporean, they live in Batam and they work in Singapore. They have like annual pass for the ticket of boat that they pay for about 1800 Sing dollar, which is equals to about like 18 millions rupiah, but they could use it for a year. So it's like people that live in Depot work in Jakarta, they take like an hour. So it's the same thing, but the difference is they make a huge amount of money, but they spend a very low spending in Batam. It's quite surprising that I just know it just now as well. And the future of Batam is very, I would say, promising, but it's challenging. Challenging means that Batam is going to be developed in the next 5 to 10 years for sure, but I'm not really sure that those who are having the land and properties and those who live in Batam are really local people. But it's for development. Now when I visited Batam, the real people in Batam is very few. Mostly people come from Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Sumatra, and that's fine. And as long as it's for the goodness, and yeah, we should support. What I'm trying to deliver here is that there's so many opportunity, and I think we need to hear more stories like this to broaden our horizon about what happens around us. And for me, to be honest, excite me that alright, there's so many opportunities out there. Do you know what I mean? Like I could start invest to think and plan to invest in Batam, for example. I mean that's but you know, this kind of thing is beneficial for those who knows. For those who don't know, they will know everything, and suddenly they will blame, oh, why this city is owned by others, and blah 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 blah. And that's shameful for me, because every people around the world are competing for the goodness. You know what I mean? Like, so what we can do now is the best investment as a young people, for me as well, is that not in property, not in cars and everything, but in self-development. You know, educate ourselves, travel, learn new things, observe, and then when the times is there, you have the experience, you have the knowledge, and then one thing that you need, you know, money, we will be there one day, but experience, I mean knowledge, you know. So I encourage all of my friends who are still in university or just working like me to be more, you know, having things to pursue, like that makes us more excited in work, and you know, knowing what we want, where we are going is very important. So I think that's all for now, and see ya. Bye bye.